Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Purushottama Vidya, Purushottama Yogam. Sloka 16, Part 3. Dvāv imau puruṣau loke, kṣaraḥ eva ca, kṣaraḥ sarvāṇi bhūtāni, kūṭa-stho kṣara ucyate. There are two classes of being, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. From the last two sessions of the Sloka, we learned that there are two classes of beings. One is called fallible or perishable. They are known by the term kṣara, and they are the conditioned souls known as baddhatma. Whereas another class of beings who are infallible, imperishable, known by the term kṣara, they are the liberated entities, liberated atma, known as muktātma. The reason that Krishna is introducing them here is to say that he is above and beyond them. He is Purushottama. Now that we have learned there are two classes of beings, now let's see further classification within these two classes of beings. In the Shvetesvara Upanishad, there is a passage which says, Ajam ekam lohita shukla krishnam bhakvi prajaha rajanam sarūpāha ajohyeko jushamanu stete jahakyanam bhuktabhoham ajonyaha. This Upanishad statement says that there are two classes of living entity. Though here it is said two, there is one more type, therefore it is three in total that we will see as we go deeper into this subject. Let's understand the sloka that we just quoted now. It says that Ajam ekam lohita shukla krishnam bhakvi prajaha rajanam sarūpāha. Here the Prakriti is Ajam, never born. Ekam, it is one. As per the Vedanta philosophy, the one that we all follow, is said Prakriti is Aja, means not born. One may think that no, the world is get created and it get destroyed. So it is born and destroyed and created again and destroyed. Then how can we say it is not born? Because in truth, it just changes from manifested to unmanifested, unmanifested to manifested. That's all happens with the Prakriti. Therefore, it is Aja. It is not born. It just changes from one state to another state. In the unmanifested state, there is no variation, there is no variegatedness. In the manifested state, it turns into Mahan, Ahankara, Panchabhuta, and etc. That Prakriti, Ekam, Lohita, Shukla Krishnam, it has red, white, and black. Lohitam, red, Shukla, white, Krishnam, black colors. That is nothing but red is Rajoguna, white is Sattvaguna, black is Tamoguna. Bhakvi prajaha srajana sarūpāha. The product that comes out of Prakriti, the offsprings, are of similar nature. They also have Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. They are Mahan, Ahankara. From Ahankara comes Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Jnanendriya, Manas, Pancha Tanmatra, Panchabhutas. They are all offsprings of the Mula Prakriti. So all the 23 elements are offspring, children of the Prakriti, Mula Prakriti. Ajohyeko jushamanu stete. There is one living entity which takes all the products that's been given by this Mula Prakriti in different forms to its enjoyment. Ajohyeko, that is, an unborn living entity, uses the material things present in the Prakriti for its own pleasure, for its enjoyment. Though here it says one Atma, one living entity, we should apply the same principle that we learned earlier. This one Atma is represented by many Atmas of similar condition. Therefore, it is not just one Atma. There are many Atmas which are categorized into one group as Atma, which is unborn, who starts enjoying the pleasures of those things which is offered by the Prakriti. Ajohyeko, unborn. The Upanishad says unborn, but we have seen that the living entities takes birth and they die. By now we must know that the living entity never takes birth, never get created, never get destroyed and dies. When it comes in contact with the Prakriti, with the body, that is called as birth. When the living entity leaves that body, that is called death. Therefore, Atma is not created, Atma is not destroyed. Then the Upanishad says, Jahati ena bhukta bhoham ajonyaha. There is another Atma who Jahati, who kicks off, leaves after getting frustrated, after enjoying and getting frustrated with the bhoga, with the enjoyment, with the facilities that's been provided by the Prakriti. He renounces, he is detached, he is not attached like the other living entities, because he has realized whatever he is getting here through the Prakriti only gives pains more than the pleasure, and the pleasure it provides is also momentary. Such a living entity is anyaha, is different from the one it's been said before. So there are two classes. One, Atma, who makes use of all the facilities that's provided by the Prakriti and gets attached to it and enjoys it, or just try to derive happiness, enjoyment through these things. Whereas the other entity, living entity, gives up this enjoyment tendency and cuts off its relationship with the Prakriti. They are known as Muktatmas, whereas the previous one is Baddhatmas. Again, let's be clear that it is not just one Muktatma. There are many Muktatmas who come to this stage. The reason it is said one is because they are all categorized into one type called Muktatmas. Like how all the Baddhatmas are categorized into one Atma, it is similarly over here as well. And what has been said in the Upanishad that we just saw is what Krishna is saying in this particular Sloka, dvāv imau puruṣau loke. There are two classes of living entities. One is kṣaraḥ, that is Baddhatma. They are also known as samsari. They are bound by their papa and punya. They are the one who are conditioned into this world. Everyone who are in this Prakriti, in this material world, are called as samsari. Whereas Muktatmas are known as kṣara. They are no more bound within this Prakriti because of the papa and punya. They are the liberated souls, kṣaraḥ. Besides this, there is a third class of living entity. They are called nityātmās. They are the one who doesn't have any connection to the prakriti, to this world. They are always in the spiritual world, nitya vibhuti. Whereas the baddhātmās are in the samsara. Therefore they are called as samsari, because they are in this lila vibhuti. Whereas the muktātmās were at one point of time baddhātmās, and later they, by cutting off their relationship with the prakriti, they have got liberated. Therefore they are known as muktātmās. Now what we are going to learn is the classification, further sub-classification within these living entities, within the baddhātmās and muktātmās. As it is said in the Puranas, there are different types of species. Jalaja navalakshani, tavara lakṣavimshati, krimayo rudra sankyakaha, pakshinam dashalakshanam, trimashal lakshani pashavaha, chatur lakshani manushaha. There are 900,000 species living in the water. There are 2 million non-moving living entities, thavara, such as trees and plants. There are 1.1 million species of insects and reptiles, and there are 1 million species of birds. As far as the mammals are concerned, there are 3 million varieties, and there are 400,000 human species. When the Purana says this number, it is not the population. Total number of population that lives in the water is 900,000, and total population of human is 400,000. That's not what it says. There are varieties, such number of varieties of species within that. All they are called as baddhātmās. They are bound into this prakriti due to their papa and punya, and experiences pains and pleasure based on their karma. These baddhātmās can be classified into 4: deva, manushya, tiryak, sthavara. When we say deva, it includes kinkaras, gandharvas, yakshas, asuras. We can consider everyone into one group as devas. Within them, there are many subgroups, subcategories are there. 12 adityas, 11 rudras, 8 vasus, 2 ashwini kumaras, which makes it 33. And within them, they have many others as well. It is said there are 33 crores of them, not in numbers, the types of them. When we consider manushya, the human, there are also many categories, types of human, based on where they are born and how they are born. We are right now in Jambudvipa. Like that, there are other dvipas, and humans are living in other places as well. Here, the Rakshasas can also be added into the category of human, whereas Asuras are not. Asuras falls into the Devas category, whereas Rakshasas falls into the human category. The Asuras are in the higher planets, whereas the Rakshasas are in the same planet where the humans are. When we say planet, we are not talking about Earth and so forth. We are talking about lokas. The humans and Rakshasas are in Bhūloka, whereas the Asuras are in the above lokas. So we have seen Deva, and Manushya. Next is Jangama, the animals, also known as Triyak. It includes animals, birds, reptiles, insects, whatever they are. And the fourth type is Thavara. Thavara means immovable entities like trees, plants, etc. We should know that plants and trees are also living entities. The Jivatma are within them too. We can see that the tree grows towards certain direction. When we have a plant, the plant grows towards where the sunlight is. They may not have the senses like us, no eyes, no nose, no ears, etc. But they are conscious beings with the limited faculties. With that limited faculties that they have, they try to do certain activities, like sucking the water from the earth, pass it through their branches to the leaves, flowers and fruits. They receive the sunlight, air, etc. Therefore, they are also living entity. They also have Atma in them. The difference is that they have less degree of consciousness, known as knowledge, jnana, dharma bhuta jnana, compared to the Jangamas, the animals, birds, reptiles. And these animals have less knowledge compared to human. And the human has less knowledge, jnana, compared to the devas. So when we say that there is a variation in their consciousness, in their jnana, then there may be a question arise in our mind by now that Jivatma is of jnana, full of knowledge, full of consciousness. And it is same for all the Jivatmas. That is how the Jivatmas are equal. We have learned this in depth in previous chapters. Then, how come there could be variation among them? One Jivatma has less knowledge, one Jivatma has more knowledge, one Jivatma knowledge is very dormant. That is to say, when the Atma is taking a body of plant, when it's born as a plant, their jnana is very low. Next, when that same Atma takes birth as a human, its jnana is way higher compared to the plant. And when the same Atma, say, takes birth as an animal next life, its knowledge goes again low compared to the human. How can this variation be? If Atma is jnanaika akaram, is made of jnana, we will learn the answer for this in our next session. To summarize, what we have seen today is there are three categories, types of Atmas: Baddhatma, Muktatma, Nityatma or Nityasuris. All the Baddhatmas can be of four types: Deva, Manushya, Triyak, Thavara. When we say Deva, it includes Kinkara, Gandharva, Yaksha, Asura and so forth. When we say human, it includes the human of Jambudvipa and other dvipas, plus Rakshasas. Whereas Jangama are animals, birds, reptiles, insects, aquatics and so forth. And lastly, Thavara, the immovable living entities like plants, trees, mountains and so forth. These four can again of types of 5 based on their birth. All this will be covered in the next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.